Hey there, welcome to another of my reviews of Tai Lopez's 67 Steps. We're up to step 36. This one is the sucker in the room and the Lollapalooza effect. And this one, it starts out with one of Tai's favorite, sayings that, if and it comes from poker. I first heard it maybe 15 years ago in the world of online poker, where it said, if you've been playing for poker for half an hour and you don't know who the sucker at the table is, the sucker is you. And this step is all about being aware of things that happen around you. And Tai and myself, big believers that everything happens in the mind. You need to train your mind, and this step is one of those steps that talks about that. And so it's all about naivete, and don't be naive to think that everyone else has your best interests at heart, because they don't. Of course, people go after their own best interests. Businesses go after their own best interest, and you need to look after yours. Of course, the hope is that your best interest is an elevated one, and then we're not talking about using any of these steps for doing some nefarious dealings where you screw people over. We're talking about trying to be the best you can be and do the best you can do. And so, yes, be aware of what's going on around you. People, you might be trying to persuade people, but there's always people trying to persuade you. And be aware of it. We are bombarded with advertising. Tai makes an interesting point. He talks about his grandmother or great-grandmother 100 years ago. When she was growing up, how much advertising was she exposed to? Not so much. But, where would she see advertising? But now it's just a constant bombardment of advertising. You can't go anywhere, do anything, see anything without being bombarded by it. And I happened, as an aside, I happen to live in Japan, as many of you know. My Japanese is not so good. That's kind of a good thing in this sense, because I'm a little bit immune to the constant advertising. To me, if I want to, I can just turn it off and not really comprehend what's going on around me. Of course, I still see the images, and the images are very powerful. So, and this is where it comes down to this Lollapalooza effect, that there's too many forces to ignore. People are persuading you, and they're good at it. And they're playing on multiple biases that you have, belief systems that you have. And don't overestimate your ability to overcome this. You are being manipulated. Again, here in Japan, the Japanese, I think unknowingly, or maybe knowingly, but I think unknowingly, are highly, highly manipulated by their media. And I think the most insidious thing is not that, of course, you're bombarded with television advertisements, everything, advertisement, but things that are perceived to be pure entertainment or even information like news are actually advertising. And to diverge a little bit, I don't know why, but I really want to talk about this on this one. In Japan, they have this morning drama. It's a very popular show. And it's like soap opera, not so good thing, but it's a hugely popular. It plays on the national network here. And this year, the morning drama, they do a different one every year. They run for about 6 months or 4 months. This year, the one was about a woman, a historical drama, true-ish story about a Scottish woman who came to Japan and married the guy who ended up starting one of Japan's first whiskey distilleries. Now, that was actually a paid advertisement by Nika Whiskey. And they made millions and millions and millions of dollars off of it, of people who bought whiskey, tried whiskey for the first time. It's a morning drama, so it's aimed at stay-at-home moms and things like this. Those people, it was tweaked totally towards them to get them buying whiskey. Now, I don't think that the Japanese general public really understands that they were totally manipulated in this case. Masterfully done, but still a piece of advertising. So how can you avoid this? I mean, you can't, like I say, overestimate your ability to be immune from it. And really there's only one way to do it, and that's to avoid it. If you want to get sick, avoid sick people. So you have to reduce your consumption of media, which is difficult in this day and age, especially when we're connected. We're seeing YouTube ads, everything, ads. But reduce your media, reduce it to more trusted sources. Strengthen your mind, which the 67 steps is all about that, by reading different books, understanding the concepts at play here. Strengthen your mind. And finally, the best twist, of course, is to use this tool of persuading people, which it is a tool. You use it for yourself, use it for your own good, hopefully for your good. And that's the ultimate key, to be able to masterfully do this enough to get your message across, which is hopefully a positive message for the people. Well, so I kind of veered off there. So be aware. Be aware. That's the thing. Be aware of this manipulation. Be aware that people are doing things for their own best interest. Not just people or companies. Bacteria, parasites. They do what's in their own best interest, and it might happen, unfortunately, to kill. But that's what they're doing for their own best interest. They're surviving. War. Is about. It's about competition or an agenda, and these microorganisms are the same thing. Granted, E. coli doesn't want to invade Poland, maybe, but it's that kind of thing. Every organism, corporation, person, microorganism has their own agenda. Be aware of those agendas. Not much you can do about it, but just don't be the sucker. Don't not know what's going on around you. Okay, I veered off a little bit. Sorry about that. Anyway, so the 3 questions of Tai. Oh, I like that. It's like the 3 questions of Tai on step 36. Were, when was a time when you thought other people had your best interests at heart, but they didn't? Man, that's a tough one, when you realize that. Number 2, what's an example of you being persuaded? What persuaded you? You should know how you can get persuaded. I know how I can get persuaded, So you should be aware of it. And third one is, what are your thoughts on, when you realize that the world is not about good and evil. It's not about black and white. It's about competition. What do you think about that? Tai wanted you to write on his page, but if you're not a 67 Steps member, you can always write on my YouTube page. I'm curious. This is a really interesting one. Certainly people are not aware of this enough. So there we go. Step 36. Hope you're enjoying these. Subscribe at wherever the button is placed by the great YouTube. And we'll see you again. And I took a little bit of break. I'm sorry. But now I'm back. See you later.